Hi, I'm Emma Stone, and this is my life in looks. This was the first premiere that I ever went to for Superbad, which was the first movie I ever did. I remember it being very, very exciting. Tara Swennen was the stylist for this. Superbad was so exciting because I just loved the script so much. I had been auditioning so much, and this amazing casting director, Allison Jones, I had been into her a bunch of times for different sitcom pilots and all these things. And so she thought of me for this role, Jules, in Superbad. It was like months. I went in and did improv with Jonah for Judd Apatow, who was a producer. And my best friend in the world is Martha McIsaac, who played Becca, the other female character in Superbad. And we lived together after that, and just, you know, life-changing in every way. I guess I would say to myself back then, like, go for it. How exciting that you get to do this. I don't think there's ever gonna be anything in here where I'm gonna be like filled with regret, because what's the point, you know? Every time period of your life is different. Next up we have, oh my, okay, wait, hold on. I told you before that I wasn't gonna say I regret anything. I immediately am going against that. It's not about the dress though. It's the spray tan. Listen, I'm from Arizona and I don't have any pigment in my skin. So growing up, I was really obsessed with the idea of being tan. That sort of followed me the first couple years that I was going to these types of things. I thought, you know, if you're dressing up and if you wanna look great, you should get a really, really dark spray tan. If you look closely, my hands it looks like I'm wearing gloves because it's not on my hands. I love this dress. I remember feeling so great in this, so great that I had to get a spray tan to really enhance how great I felt. Easy A was another very pivotal moment for me. I loved that character so deeply. I love Olive because she's so sort of, I never know how to pronounce this word because I only read it, preternaturally. I thought that albeit was albeit for so many years because I would see it written down and I was like, albeit, everybody, it's albeit. So preternaturally, come at me, internet. I'm gonna get canceled for that one. She's so precocious, I guess, is a different word for it, in terms of how she relates to the sort of high school atmosphere. And I think that she's very in that world, but not of that world. Yeah, I just love Olive. She rocked. We're gonna go to the next look now. And I can't wait to show you what we've got. It's, oh God, it's the spray tan again. I look like one solid thumb. And that dress is so pretty. Why did I decide to match my skin tone to the dress? That's what bums me out about this, is it's such a beautiful dress, such a beautiful shade. And I really thought that the tan was the move. That was a really, really fun night because I brought my mom and we sat next to Angelina Jolie, and she asked Angelina Jolie if she had any kids. The Golden Globes is sort of like these big round tables, and it feels like you're just like constantly running into all these people that you've only seen, I guess, on TV or in movies. Everybody's shorter than you think they are, except for Conan O'Brien, who's 7.5 feet tall. Here we go. Next up is, this is Giambattista Valli, the Oscars 2012, and I presented Best Visual Effects with Ben Stiller. I was very nervous. Ben Stiller was great and very nice, and we had done the rehearsal. It was fun for me because honestly, in any of these circumstances, there's nothing more fun for me than performing. So anytime I get to kind of do a bit, it's like on talk shows, like getting to do lip syncing or a game or something, feels way better to me than doing an interview like this. Thanks a lot. I had an amazing time here because it was so fun to, you know, ask Jonah to dance or like to be this really kind of over the top character. And Ben was such an amazing straight man. I mean, he's iconically an incredible straight man in so many things. That was a real boon to have Ben Stiller straight manning my cuckoo-ness. Oh, Spider-Man premiere in London in 2014. This is Versace. I love that color so much, that bright yellow. This beautiful gold necklace, the pink on the whole thing. I loved it. I mean, I really loved doing Spider-Man. I loved everybody I worked with. I met Andrew there. I met Sally Field. Mark Webb was wonderful. Like, it was really a special time in my life. So that's the recurring theme, is the people, more than kind of like the film itself is what sticks with me for so long. And so I have only like the fondest memories of this whole experience. I will say the press tours for these films, I don't really know how people do it. I remember it being like 9 countries in maybe 2 weeks, and you're functioning in a state of jet lag never previously known to you. I felt truly psychotic the entire time. So I'm half dead in this picture, but I love the look. Okay. Oh yes. Okay, so this was Valentino. It was the Birdman premiere at Venice Film Festival. Mara Rozak, my hairdresser, as we say, not stylist, had just given me a fresh bob. We were very excited about this bob. Can't wait to get there again. Mara, she's over there. Please, soon. I loved the shade of this, the whole thing. And this was my first time at the Venice Film Festival, which is so incredible. You ride in gondolas everywhere. I'd never been to Venice, Italy before, and it feels very romantic and very intense, as you can see from, I mean, look at that guy. It feels like that energy coming at you, but then you get on a gondola and it's like quiet and you're on the canals. It was amazing. Birdman felt like I thought that Alejandro was joking when he asked me to do it. I was like, there's no way you want me to play this part with this incredible cast and you're the director. It was just really kind of threw me for a loop. It really freaked me out and made me so excited. And we had all these rehearsals for a month to choreograph everything because every scene was done in one take. And I do think that experience sort of shifted my relationship to films that I've wanted to be part of since. My instinct is just to choose high wire acts. I like when someone is swinging for the fences. Even if you miss, you're really trying for something and it doesn't feel like safe or complacent. And I don't expect to be in that position for a long time. While I have the opportunity to choose films that feel like that, that's what I try to do. And so Birdman was really kind of the birth of that. Oh, look at her go in her chartreuse. That's Elie Saab with some, I believe, Tiffany cuffs at the end of the dress, which look like they're part of the sleeves, but they're not. Don't be fooled. Were they slightly tacked to the end of the sleeves? Sure, yeah. All right, we took a little creative license. But no, they're not part of the dress. What is wrong with me? There's something so great about this color in general. Some might call it putrid, a little gross, you know, but not us. We love it. Even dyed the shoes to match, if you'll notice. Those did not come in that color, that's a dye job. The Lego movie was that year, and I got to get a Lego Oscar. So, great night. Oh, look! Wait, this was just the other day. Huh, right? No, I'm kidding. This is Vogue in 2016. I'm wearing a Michael Kors top and who knows what's on the bottom. It was so fun. It was all wigs and it was just kind of all over I think the WB lot or the Paramount lot. And we were just dressing up in all these different things kind of in a tribute to Mia being an actress in La La Land in the film, which is what this was for. And it was great. And I was really surprised that this was the cover picture and thought it was so cool. Okay. Oh, La La Land. Mary Zofries was the costume designer. The inspiration from Umbrellas of Cherbourg, the Jacques Demy movie, was pretty resonant throughout all of the sort of colorscape of this movie. It's a lot of, bright and prime colors and everything was pretty much a solid shade. This yellow dress reminds me of that one that we had at the Spider-Man premiere. It's like a very similar shade of that, like buttery, buttercup yellow. I had done a Cabaret. Damien Chazelle, our director, had come to see me in Cabaret. Much like Sally Bowles, Mia doesn't have to be a perfect singer, which is the only way that I possibly could have played this role because I am not a natural born singer. I took voice lessons for so many years and it just didn't ever really progress to the point where it's like, she is a dyed-in-the-wool singer. It was a joy to get to sing in a movie and not have this immense pressure of needing to sound perfect and to dance like this and to do tap training and our ballroom training and it was great. Nope. Ah, yes. This is the Oscars in 2017, and I'm wearing Givenchy. This dress was very special. There were a lot of fittings for this. The fringe was really fun. Felt very kind of old Hollywood. It's also a really intense build-up period to a night like this. I learned in that time period that the sort of going out and promoting a film like this film is longer than you ever rehearsed or shot the film. Like it's such a long sort of road to a night like this. This is like the final night. It's very emotional on a lot of levels and very surreal on a lot of levels. It's like very tearful, or it was for me, like very tearful and really intense. And it's also like saying goodbye to all of those people that you've been doing this, you made the film with, and then you've been out going to all these places or, you know, talking about this film for so long, and it is the last night. It's really emotional. It was very emotional. My proudest achievement is my spelling bee trophy. I can spell really well, but I can't say preacher naturally, or albeit. I have a GED. Anyway, here's our next look. Louis Vuitton. It was the Met Ball. Heavenly Bodies was the theme. This is really the Super Bowl for designers, I would say. It is beautiful. And looks like I'm going on a ship. A ship is kind of a heavenly body because it's like, how is it so big and still staying afloat? You know, in terms of the physics of it. If someone could explain that to me, that would be great. This is a still from The Favorite. It was my first time working with one Mr. Yorgos Lanthimos. It was an amazing experience. Another cast and crew that I absolutely love and adore to this day. We shot it on location at this place called Hatfield House, 45 minutes from London. It was all very old and very beautiful, and we weren't allowed to sit on anything. And they put a pine cone on each chair throughout the sort of palace to ensure that we wouldn't sit on it. And I remember thinking that was like so cool and sadistic. But you know what you could do? Don't tell them. You could lift up the pine cone and sit on it. This was Sandy Powell, costume designer. She's a genius, she's a legend. My first time ever really wearing a corset. I can confirm it does shift your organs after a while. My body shape was different for like, I would say about a month after The Favorite, because it was extremely tight. It pulls you in. I've got a very big rib cage, so it's like an intense thing to maneuver. My body was definitely not built for a corset. That's a gift that keeps on giving, because now I can really hold my breath for a long time underwater, and I think it's because of the corset. Okay. Hello. This is the cover of British Vogue, shot by Craig McDean. This is a look that Rachel Goodwin completely nailed, but you're told to not do anymore, which is a blue eye, blush pink, and a red lip. You know, like an 80s look, but here, it's incredible. All credit where credit is due. Rachel Goodwin is incredible and brilliant. We've been working together for 20 years, but I will say I met a red lip when I was in youth theater doing my own makeup. I played many characters and I learned to do my makeup with Ben Nye. If you know, you know. I was like playing Eeyore and old women where I would draw on wrinkles and stuff. And I definitely had to wear a red lip as a stepsister in Cinderella at the Herberger Theater Center. And one of the best parts about that red lipstick was I was 13 and I had to put it on, you know, every day, but I had braces. And for the entire show, I just had like red lipstick stuck in my braces. So no, Rachel didn't introduce me to red lip, long story short. Next slide. You know, you can't really think about the 700 hours of craftsmanship while you're wearing it, or else you won't be able to move. There's so many people working on these clothes, and it takes so much care and craftsmanship. Whenever there is a dress that I've gotten to wear, been lucky enough to wear, that has taken a lot of hard work, you just feel grateful that you get to wear it. And it really does remind you of that thing in Devil Wears Prada, you know, where it's like, it's art that you live your life in. It really is true. It's pretty amazing. That said, Nicola, one of the great loves of my life, I saw the memes, okay? I saw the memes that I looked like waffle. The color brown, I do understand, because of the honeycomb shape, it is a little bit waffle-esque. And I like that because waffles are my favorite food. So you got. My favorite place in the whole wide world, SNL. SNL has always been really personal to me. I did happen to meet my husband there as well, but my favorite performer of all time is Gilda Radner. I grew up obviously watching SNL every Saturday that was on at the time, which also, I was so lucky I was watching 90s SNL insane cast, so incredible. But I also knew so much about Gilda. Gilda has always held such a deeply special place in my heart. So Lorne was like this, I just couldn't imagine ever meeting Lorne. And the first time I met Lorne, I fully burst into tears and was just like, I couldn't speak. And honestly, the day that I got the call to host SNL for the first time, I was not well. I cried so hard, it was like somebody had died, but it was in the positive way. It was like the greatest dream of my life to get to go be there. And so it's always meant so much to me. And it's just my favorite place to be. This is a still from Poor Things. Holly Waddington was our costume designer. Brilliant beyond belief. Just created such inspired, unique looks for a person who is not sure how to put everything together on her own body. Here, it's bloomers with this sheer sort of petticoat that would be worn under another outfit. Also, this ruffled shirt obviously would need a coat over it. But what does Bella Baxter know? She has no idea how that goes together, so she just put on whatever she wanted. Holly won the Oscar for this. This was so genius, and she was under great duress because this was in 2021 when there was a lot of delays coming to Budapest from England, where she typically works, in materials, in all of this stuff that she needed to make. Everything had to be made. Nothing was bought. So she had a really huge job cut out for her in this time period, and she just pulled it off so beautifully by no help of mine, because I hate fittings and I was always like, oh yeah, we have to do another fitting, and just making her life a nightmare. I think from the beginning, we went to Athens early on before we shot the film. Yorgos and Holly and I kind of talked through mood boards and fabrics and all of these things. And back to the sort of chartreuse world, she wanted colors that were a little off, like a little strange, very evocative of that kind of time period. She kept saying things that felt like organs, because Godwin Baxter, Bella's father, is a surgeon. There's a lot about brains and a lot of kind of, scientific elements. And so she had a lot of that inspiration from like bodily things, which to me was just so cool and so interesting, the way that she brought it to life. Okay. Oh, what was really fun about this dress was there's these big pockets that are just like these structured pockets. It's Louis Vuitton dress. So I just texted Nicola and asked him if we could put popcorn in the pockets, because, well, I don't know if it's his favorite food, but there's always popcorn around Lorne Michaels. Like in his office, everybody just takes handfuls of popcorn. I thought it's the 50th anniversary, let's do a tribute to Lorne with popcorn. First of all, rude, because look at the ground. I trailed popcorn everywhere I went, and I know that's rude, and I don't think that it's not rude, and I'm sorry. But at the same time, did a lot of people eat popcorn out of my pockets? Yes. People were very excited that there was just free popcorn. Grace Coddington was the creative director for this shoot. Amazing. So exciting to just get to work with Grace. Jamie Hawksworth was the photographer. I almost cried when I found out he was the photographer, because he shoots exclusively on film, usually medium format film, and he develops and prints his own photography, which is a huge passion of mine. So I was so excited. And Jamie's very into you being kind of goofy and sort of acting while you're being photographed. So it was really a cool experience. We were in the Pope's residence before the Vatican in Avignon, and there was a tour group that was going through, but they would sort of rope off like half of it, and I would sort of like walk by in a robe and these Nicola created looks, and this is very funny and very, very cool. And there's my Vogue cover. All right, that was my life in looks. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you learned a lot today. I sure did.